What is this really about? You've been at kind of the tip of the spear here, and they're trying to shut you down. But what is this? Pull back for a second and frame this argument. What is this actually about, ma'am?
So what you have is, ever since 4 months ago, when President Trump was almost assassinated in Butler, you have the most vitriolic and censorious leftist billionaires and privileged executives in Silicon Valley deciding that after censoring and silencing President Trump and the MAGA base for the last 8 or 9 years, they want to have a seat at the table. And why do they want a seat at the table? Because they want to skirt accountability in the incoming Trump administration after doing everything in their power to stop President Trump from getting elected. And they also want to influence our immigration policy. And so I've been calling this out from the get-go, been very critical of the big tech executives walking into Mar-a-Lago like they're trying to buy influence with their $1 million checks, and coming around after, being vitriolic towards President Trump. And the question is, and your previous guests this morning have the same questions, why are these people who have a history of hating President Trump all of a sudden trying to dictate us on our immigration policy and telling us that we're stupid, we're not the best and brightest, we have to import people to do the jobs in tech, we have to have foreigners now work with David Sachs, who didn't even support President Trump in the primary, right? These are people who supported Ron DeSantis and said that President Trump was too old and that he was likely going to go to jail and not survive his indictments. These are the people that are being welcomed into the White House. And so this all started because I posted a tweet about this guy, Saram, and pointed out the fact that he has been donating to Democrats, including pro-impeachment and pro-indictment Democrats like Ro Khanna, who said that President Trump should be impeached 1 month before the presidential election. And now we're watching these people who have never had an interest in President Trump, who donated to his political opponents over the years, supported Hillary Clinton, supported Ro Khanna, now trying to influence our policy. And the tech bros don't want accountability, Bannon. That's what this is about. They don't like when people shed a light.
Yeah. But hang on one second. By the way, Ro Khanna has got the take on economic nationalism because economic patriotism. I'm not so sure the guy that gave him a check really totally understands his economic policies, which is really kind of America first. But let me go back to Elon Musk. And I've said this over and again because he and I have a lot of disagreements, and particularly on transhumanism and the CCP. But Laura, when the campaign had no money, the outside groups ran the ground game. You know this. You were there. He wrote a $250 million check starting in, every month starting in July. We would not have had the ground game victory we had, the 50-some-plus million people that showed up on mass mobilization, if Elon didn't write that check. I mean, how do you deal with that? That the fact that he's going to be at the table because he's one of the most important guys that back President Trump financially, and in his engineering mind, he didn't spend the money on ads. He went right back and supported, Charlie Kirk's efforts, our efforts, your efforts, everybody to get out the vote. How do you square that, ma'am?
Well, you can have a seat at the table, but why are Trump loyalists and people who have actually had skin in the game since the beginning not allowed to criticize or even report on the history and the nature of the people that are now being appointed to work in the Trump administration? This is about freedom of speech. This is about holding truth to power. And this is about being able to speak truth to power and speak truth about unelected billionaires who now want to pretend like they are president. And a lot of people are concerned about this. It's not just Democrats that are concerned about the level of influence that technocratic billionaires are having walking into Mar-a-Lago and trying to have a seat at the table to influence our tech policy after being anti-MAGA and pro-open borders their entire lives. So we need to have a conversation about this. People shouldn't be demonetized. I was banned from Twitter, and I'm still suspended for hours. I had my blue check mark taken away, even though I've been a paid subscriber to Twitter, and I've supported premium. And I also had all of my paid subscribers taken away. These are people that decided to support me with their money because they like what I do and they enjoy my journalism. And so now a billionaire who doesn't like the fact that I'm opposed to H-1B visas, and a billionaire that doesn't like the fact that I'm pointing out that a guy who donated to pro-impeachment Democrats shouldn't have a seat at the table in the Trump administration is going to take that away from me, it sends a chilling effect. Yeah. And, you know, if you're not going to support free speech and you're going to silence President Trump's supporters and his most loyal followers who helped get him elected when people like Elon Musk and David Sachs were supporting and financing Ron DeSantis, you don't have a spot at the table. You shouldn't have a spot at the table.
Laura, just hang on for 1 second. I know you got a bolt, but I need to hold you just quickly through this break. Laura Loomer joins us by phone. Raheem Kassam, Dave Brett, Darren